Hello, good evening. I am Fikiri, the Dark Feminina. Welcome in many languages. Just welcome. Praises to the only creator. There is only one. Haze of praises to Umdali. Haze of thank yous to Umdali. Haze of blesses to Umdali. Umdali being the Tuko is Zulu name meaning the creator. And under the creator, of course, there are many different religions, different compras, that is different. Comprare is Latin Spanish word for to understand. And so in Royom speak, Ubukosi speak, which is known as Royom in much of the world, if not most all of the world. It's the form. It's one of the formal ways of describing, discussing, referring to the creator and the revelations from the creator, the different religions and all the orders and levels and different compras within the orders of Ubungoma. That is the ancient religion of Kyalo TuTuSi, Egypt, Masr, and thence throughout Kyalo, and is more well known today in Kyalo Ko, which is South Africa, as the traditional religion, and which is of God. It is goddess and God are one. It is of the only creator. Uku in Zulu means two, and Dala is create. So is a person signifier, and it agrees at the end. In ancient times, from ancient times, one can say Umdala or Umdalo, but it seems from listening to people talk and discuss their beliefs as Sangoma, as people who follow the traditional religions of Kyalo Ko, Umdali is more, at least publicly widespread as the name. It means the creator. In England, now I wish to welcome you again to discuss Kyalo in Kyalo Bara. Pharaoh Tumoshu the third of the 18th dynasty. His rule is 1400s book BC. As a person who hears and perceives the spirit world, ancestors of my own and sometimes of other people's, sometimes they speak to me. And Pharaoh Tumoshu III of Kyalo TuTuSi, the 18th dynasty or generation, really, he said that the British Isles are in their time, in their tongue, Kyalo Bara, meaning, he said, Kyalo over there. And it is the traditional name. Kyalo TuTuSi is Egypt, Misra. Kyalo Su is Sudan, both Sudans originally. Kyalo Ku is Tanzania, all of it. Kyalo Ki is Kenya, all of it. Originally, they're both unitary kingdoms. And Kyalo Ko is an original unitary kingdom. Kyalo Ko is all of South Africa. And Kyalo Bara used to be very much more person connected, government connected, family connected with Kyalo Ko especially. Remember, I once described how each original kingdom of the world has a particular kingdom in Kyalo that kingdom is particularly descended from and connected to in over the millennia. It's not a one time we were connected in the time of the first, second, third generations of humanity when the kingdoms were first settled. It's since then. Marriages upon marriages over the millennia times millennia times millennia. We are Kyalo Co is South Africa, Tuta, all of South Africa. The British Isles, especially with a special mention of England, is traditional description is we are also Coland. This is also Coland, and it's got not publicly discussed for lots of decades now. Not that many, really. It publicly, I would say, perhaps the 1970s was the last time. Maybe the early 1970s. I was young then, so and I haven't actually. I haven't looked. I haven't asked when. Was the last time on television, perhaps, or in it, in an interview when it was last discussed. In the press, people talked about Royaume more in the past, but since even more people decided to not publicly own up to honor Royaume. Of course, the discussion, the conversation about the British Isles and South Africa Anciens, it went too, and it's very unhelpful, and it's actually very dangerous, because for the British Isles, it means more disconnection with the British Isles' own ancestry, with the British Isles' own past. It's worth giving this a divinare, a scry, a delve, a plum. There are so many different traditions and different names for the same kind of divinare throughout Kyalo and certainly throughout the rest of the world. And to delve is a particular kind of shlola, as is to plumb, to search, to find, to do a hearing, to do a seeing. It's all still practiced, but on the calm, on the quiet. Most people don't, if they do it, they usually don't admit, as in feel comfortable talking about it in public. The Inquisition and other evil death cults have put paid to people feeling comfortable talking about Ubungoma in the British Isles. What we're left with are certain people talking about it, but often they've added some poison to the subject, and it's not everything that is sound anymore. And people need to be scrying, delving what they understand. Ubungoma, the old religion, much referenced in the television series Merlin, is not all one thing. It's but it is fascinating, and it isn't about the old religion itself is holy. It's not about injustice and lawless killings and all the scary stuff that people in the British Isles have come to associate with the old religion. Sometimes they're referring to Ubungoma, sometimes they're referring to, and there's another religion ancien here called Kwayyis. It's not just in the British Isles there. And one interesting thought to bear in mind, I believe I've posted about it before. I can't remember if I've said it in a video before, but when King Solomon of Kyalo Jew, that is the Kingdom of Judah, Israel today is usually known as, but it's the Kingdom of Judah originally, Kyalo Jew, and he wrote in the Bible that there is nothing new under the sun. nothing new under the heavens, depending on the translation, or the edition even of the Bible, of the Hebrew Bible. And when he said it, he was not the first person that the Creator had spoken through, reminding humanity that there is nothing new under the heavens. And it had first been said through Kyalo TuTuSi, through Egypt, which is Embo cool. And if it wasn't original, but a reiteration in 969 BC, which is 9,000, nearly 9,000 plus the 2,000 years AD. That's a very long time ago. If there was nothing new under the heavens then, that means everything, as I explained before in earlier videos and posts, that means all our technologies are not new. Space travel is not new. Motor vehicles are not new. Digital technology, not new. It's all re-taught to the human race, or republished, reproduced in Vray. In times in the past, in Kyalo, that Kyalo is originally with Africa, recuerdos, kumbuka, souvenirs. It is, remember that is, it is, Kyalo was the first to produce all of those things. Kyalo was the first to produce absolutely everything. It was the first, it's the first, the birthplace of humanity and everything that humanity comes with. So there is no technology that has not been used and tried before. Sometimes in the every lives of Vrin, our ancestors from around the world, they would watch the movies on huge screens. Like maybe today people go to drive-in movies, at least in America, and they would watch the movies like we do, but they were up on a screen in the air, and when the showing was over, it would be hidden. It's possible to do an awful lot in Vrin. Some of the technologies were in use in Vray in this daily life too. Depends on the times, depends on the continent, depends on the area of the continent, depends on which kingdom, depends on who, but there is nothing new under the heavens. And Kyalo Bara, as I say, as I'm explaining, reminding some people, because people did used to know all of this, is when we call the Creator Umdali, we bring ourselves to our ancestors. If you are able to perceive, perhaps vistas opening up where you perceive our ancestors in their times or somewhere near their times, where they're showing us their homes, their cities, their towns, their countrysides, their farms, where they used to live. And it's a very great blessing if you're able to do that, and to be able to remember who and what you saw and met. And so to use certain words bring us to people. Concepts, certainly, they also bring us to people, the people who used those words. So today, Umdali is still spoken in South Africa, in all of Southern Africa, because if they're speaking Zulu or they know Zulu, then it's daily speech, it's their daily language, as it was in most of ancient Egypt, Embo and Masr, Mizraim, Egypt. Zulu is